You're watching the Raiders Report, the #1 Raiders channel here on YouTube, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Now, 5 players the Oakland Raiders could target in a trade this offseason. Now, some of these names are big names, so get ready for it. The first player I want to talk about is Jimmy Smith. Very talented, but has struggled with injuries the past 3 years. I would make the argument that Gareon Conley and Jimmy Smith would be one of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. And if you want to be able to compete in your division, where you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, you're going up against Phillip Rivers, I'm not even going to say Joe Flacco, but you're going up against some solid teams, and an NFL and a league that is driven by quarterback play, you need to have solid cornerback depth. Now, Gareon Conley's got a high ceiling, there's no doubt. But all the other quarterbacks on the Raiders kind of have question marks around them. So if you can go out and get Jimmy Smith, because the Ravens right now have a very, very deep roster in terms of quarterback depth. So maybe get Smith a little bit cheaper. Because when you look at see what this guy's done the last 4 years, even though he hasn't played in a lot of games, he's breaking up passes, he's intercepting the ball, he's been a tough quarterback since coming into the league. He's a veteran. I think he'd be able to learn this system rather quickly. So you pair Jimmy Smith with Gareon Conley, and that's a lot of fun. But like I said before, this show is about trades. So what is a possible Jimmy Smith trade? I think the Ravens would receive the Raiders' 3rd-round pick in 2020, and we get Jimmy Smith. So what I want you guys to do this entire show is comment below whether or not you like these trades. Can you do that? So Y for yes, N for no, the entire show. So right now, this is what the Raiders' defensive back depth chart looks like. You got Gareon Conley, you got Daryl Worley, Abram, Joseph, Joyner, okay? That's what it's looking like. Now, you insert Jimmy Smith into this cornerback depth chart, and it's getting a lot more fun. Gareon Conley, Jimmy Smith. Now, you just add a little bit more depth. Now, also note that I've moved Worley over to nickelback because I think that he would end up playing nickelback behind LaMarcus Joyner. So, Jimmy Smith, Gareon Conley, man, I'm telling you what, a lot of fun. And throughout this entire show, okay, because there's a lot of names out there that we could trade for. The Raiders have a lot of opportunities. Now, I want you guys to comment below if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook. I want you to name a player that you would want the Raiders to trade for. Can you do that for me? Comment below. I need to hydrate because that's important. Name a player that you want the Raiders to trade for. Next player on my list that I would love for them to go after, Evan Engram, tight end of the Giants. So, people might say no way. No way the Giants would trade Evan Engram. Honestly, you're probably right. But let's be honest for 1 second, okay? This is what I want you to do. I want you to type me if you said the Giants won't trade OBJ. Me, like, I am typing me 1,000 times. I sat here at Chat Sports and said, no way. There is no way Dave Gettleman is that big of an idiot to trade away OBJ. And then there was one day, I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I get a message from Tom. Oh my God, they did it. The Giants traded OBJ. So if you think for a second that they won't trade Evan Engram, you're wrong. Now, Evan Engram in 2018, he actually didn't play as well as what he did as a rookie. But still, 45 catches, 577 yards, 3 touchdowns. The average was a little bit higher. But when I think about the upside of an Evan Engram player who came out of Ole Miss, who ran a 4.4240 at the NFL Combine, I see what he did as a rookie in 2017. 722 receiving yards, 64 catches, and 6 touchdowns. Evan Engram did this with noodle arm Eli Manning. Now, a lot of you guys are like, Mitch, why would we go out and trade for Evan Engram? We already have Darren Waller. I get it. Darren Waller is a fun player to think about. But what happens if it doesn't happen? You're going to rely on Luke Wilson? No. You're going to rely on Foster Moreau? He's only a rookie. Carrier, I think, is likely to get cut. Eric Swoop, I don't think is totally there yet. There's a lot of what-ifs when you're talking about Raiders tight ends. So, here's the possible Evan Engram trade that I've put together. The Giants would receive a second-round pick in 2020 and Brandon Parker. The Giants need right tackles, plain and simple. I am personally not a Brandon Parker fan. I think he struggled a lot as a rookie last year. I think we can all agree on that. And if you tell me right now, a second-round pick in 2020 and Brandon Parker for Evan Engram, and then I get to look at this tight end depth chart every day when I come into work, yeah, give me that. Give me Evan Engram, because Derek Carr, when he had Jared Cook, that was his go-to guy. Jared Cook, the last 2 years, led the team in receiving yards. Jared Cook, the last 2 years, has been top of the team in receptions. I am excited about Evan Ingram's third year, and if we get him as a tight end, it would be loving it. Okay, but here's the thing, though. The only way that the Raiders would ever make this trade is if they're not confident in Darren Waller. And I know a bunch of you guys like Waller a lot, so I want you to type 1 for yes, 2 for no. Are you honestly confident in Darren Waller stepping up this year for the Oakland Raiders in 2019? Derek Carr has relied on the tight end position. He has relied on the tight end position the last 2 years, there's no doubt about it. So, are you honestly confident that Darren Waller can step up for the Raiders? Type 1 for yes and type N for no. Now, I want to give a special shout out to today's sponsor, MyBookie. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders and use my promo code GORaiders for a 100% deposit bonus. So if you put down $50, you're going to get $50 for free. You can put up to $300 down. So if you want to be a big baller, you're going to put down $300, you get $300 for free. And if anybody does this, if anybody signs up for MyBookie, chatsports.com/Raiders, guess what? I'm going to put you on the show. Got it? MyBookie, shout out to you. Use the promo code GORaiders, 100% deposit bonus. Let's keep the show rolling. Carlos Dunlap. The Raiders are still in need of adding some pass rush, right? Come on, we know this. Now, imagine adding another Bengals player. Is it really that crazy? I don't think so. The Bengals, they're not in win now mode. The Raiders are. Now, if you could go out and get a veteran who knows Paul Guenther's defense right away, it's Carlos Dunlap. One of the other things that I love that I've seen from Dunlap this offseason are all the reports that he's kind of taken on this leadership role and helping out the younger Bengals players. Kind of sounds a lot like Vontaze Burfict to me. Now, you put Vontaze Burfict, you get Carlos Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap is still playing at an absolutely elite level. Look at these numbers. I actually started laughing when I saw his 2015 numbers. 55 tackles, 13.5 sacks, 34 quarterback hits. Arden Key led the team last year with 11. 11. Carlos Dunlap had a down year last year with 21. An absolute elite edge rusher still at 30 years old. Carlos Dunlap comes over and could be an instant impact player for the Raiders. Now, I threw together a nice little trade here. I think the Bengals would honestly give up him for a third-round pick in 2020. They're looking to add picks. He's 30 years old. He's getting a little bit older there in age. So, you tell me right now, third-round pick for Carlos Dunlap? Yeah, sign me up for that all day. Now, the Raiders' defensive line depth chart, I like Furl, I like Arden Key, Mohurst, Hankins. So, some of you might be asking me, well, Mitch, where does he fit in? For me, I think Carlos Dunlap would take the place of Arden Key. There's already been multiple rumors out there that Key might be already replaced by Max Crosby. So, Carlos Dunlap, Mohurst, Hankins, and Cleveland Ferrell, I'll tell you what, I personally think that would be a great fit for the Oakland Raiders. So, I'm typing my GF for good fit. So, would Carlos Dunlap be a good fit for the Raiders on defense, on that defensive line next to Cleveland Ferrell? Type GF for good fit or type BF for bad fit. If you're typing BF for bad fit, I don't know what else to give you, because Carlos Dunlap on this defense would be absolutely stellar in some silver and black. So GF for good fit, BF for bad fit. I need to take a sip. You ready for this next one? Jalen Ramsey. He wants a new contract, okay? His current deal, which he signed in 2016, does not expire until after the 2020 season. And it's going to cost the team about $21.1 million in cap space over that time. Not a bad deal, at least for Jacksonville. Now, they can get an elite talent at the NFL premier positions for an average cap hit that would rank outside the top 10 for cornerbacks. That's if they gave him an extension. Well, they're likely not to give Jalen Ramsey an extension. And I'll say this, Jalen Ramsey and Conley would be the best cornerback duo in the NFL. Like, there is no doubt about that whatsoever. Jalen Ramsey and Conley would be the best cornerback duo in the league. Like, I honestly believe that, okay? So Ramsey said that he won't be receiving a contract extension this year. And instead, I laugh because last year they gave an extension to Blake Bortles. Like, that worked out great for you, didn't it? So Jalen Ramsey last year in 2018, 12 games, okay? I get it. He didn't play all 16. but 3 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, and 48 tackles. Jalen Ramsey is physical. Jalen Ramsey is everything that I want in a cornerback. He's vocal. He's going to be a leader. He would be so much fun to watch. So, right now, this is what the Raiders are working with on defense. Conley, Worley, Abram, Joseph, and Joyner. Now, think about this, okay? You insert Jalen Ramsey. Oh my Lord. Good thing I'm not on screen because I am overly excited. Good thing that you can't see from the waist down because with that depth chart, oh man, Jalen Ramsey, Conley, Abram, Joseph, and Joyner, woo! Oh man, I'd be more than happy to show off my Nathan Peterman. So here's the possible Jalen Ramsey trade. A first-round pick in 2020, and then we give up Trayvon Mullen, who we drafted 40th this year. I get it. We just signed him. It's okay. But if you're telling me right now we get Jalen Ramsey for a first-round pick and trade a rookie cornerback who is talented, but when you have Jalen Ramsey, I'm okay with this. So I want to know the entire show, guys. I want you to comment below if you like my trade ideas. Should the Raiders trade for Jalen Ramsey? I want you to type T for trade or type P for pass. Last player the Raiders should trade for, Jadeveon Clowney. The team put the franchise tag on Clowney earlier this year. Okay, so this is going to give him $15.967 million for the upcoming season. Now, the Texans and Clowney are still trying to negotiate a deal, but according to the Houston Chronicle, no deal is even close. So the fact that these two sides aren't even close, the fact that he skipped mandatory minicamp, the fact that there are reports out right now that Clowney could pull a Le'Veon Bell and not even play. That should really open up the Texans' eyes. It should also open up the Raiders' eyes, who need an edge rusher. Now, I'll say this. Since Clowney was drafted first overall in 2014, I think he's been a little bit of a letdown. I really do. I think another player who has all the tools in the world, he's been a little bit of a letdown. But Jadeveon Clowney, maybe he's going to be in Vegas, he's going to be in Oakland. I would freaking love to see it. So here's the Raiders defensive line depth chart right now. You got Arden Key, you got Cleveland Ferrell. You have a lot of these really, really solid players. So, imagine this trade going down. A first-round pick in 2020 and Arden Key for Jadeveon Clowney. What do you think? I think it's pretty. I think it's sexy. So imagine Jadeveon Clowney, Mo Hurst, Cleveland Ferrell, and Hankins. Yeah, I understand he's an outside linebacker for the Texans. If Clowney comes over to the Oakland Raiders, the dude's playing defensive end. He will be a defensive end for the Raiders. Now, I'm putting out a lot of ideas out here. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, okay? So I want you guys to keep on commenting below, okay? Raiders defensive line depth chart here. Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know about you. I would absolutely love it. I want you to name another player, the Raiders, that you could potentially trade for because this show, okay? 5 players that the Oakland Raiders could have traded for, okay? So we started it off with Jimmy Smith. I went to Evan Engram. And then we went to Carlos Dunlap, Jalen Ramsey, and finished it off with Jadeveon Clowney. But you guys know the show isn't about me. And I want you to subscribe to the #1 Raiders channel here on YouTube, youtube.com/RaidersReport. And heck, somebody was like, Mitch, I can't get these notifications anymore for when you go live. Pro tip, click on the notification button and click subscribe. If you click on the notifications, I promise you will get a notification for when I go live. Can you do that for me? I know I would definitely appreciate that. Raider Nation, I'm counting on you. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.